a panel discussion brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before we get to our exciting panel discussion, let me share some brief housekeeping items. First, we'll have audience Q&A if time allows. So attendees, please submit questions via the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll get to as many as possible. If we can't get to questions, we can follow up post-webcast. Next, this webinar has continuing professional education credits, or CPE. So we'll have 3 audience polling questions for CPE. And if you're not seeking CPE, you could answer the questions for benchmarking as well. So please participate in the poll questions via the GoToWebinar control panel. Finally, in answer to a frequent question, you will receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. Now a word about our partner and sponsor, Brex. Brex is the first fully unified global spend platform with corporate cards, expense management, reimbursements, bill pay, procurement, and travel, all in one place. Brex makes it easy for finance teams to manage every aspect of global spend at scale by empowering employees anywhere to make better financial decisions. Brex proudly serves tens of thousands of businesses, from enterprises to startups. Learn more at brex.com. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our moderator, and who will introduce our panelists as well, Tomar Piani, Senior Director of Product at Brex. Tomar, take it away.
All right, thank you, Neil. Welcome, everyone. Really excited to be joining all of you today and kind of spend the next hour talking about spend management and best practices. So just for introductions, my name is Tomar Piani. I'm a Senior Director of Product at Brex, and I lead Brex's spend management product. And I'm really excited to spend the next hour or so talking with you all about kind of how unifying your company's spend in one system can be really critical, and the power that it can unlock for companies. But better to hear about this from me. We thought it'd be more useful for you all to hear about it from real experts in the field. And so that's why I'm really excited to be joined today by 3 esteemed Brex customers. So we have Natalie from Triage Staffing Healthcare, Rafa from Graphite, and Brian from Inter Miami joining me today. And so I'll invite the 3 of you, if you want to turn on your webcams and come on stage. And then hey Rafael, hey Natalie, hey Brian. Awesome to see you all. Thank you for being with us. Maybe to get started, if you each of you want to introduce yourselves. And so why don't we start with you, Natalie, and then we'll go Brian and Rafael. So if you want to just introduce yourselves, what your role or what you do today, and then we'll get started.
Thanks, Tomas. My name is Natalie Dirksen. I've been with Triage Staffing for about 4 years. I've been, as of late, heading our company credit card platform, and I handle a couple of other supports in accounts payable as well. But yeah, the main focus of my position is credit card corporate platform control and spending. So yeah.
Awesome. Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, everyone. Brian Medina. I am the accounting manager here at Inter Miami CF. I've been here for 1.5 years, and I wear all hats, whether it's operations, audit risk, a little bit of everything. We are a small team, so we are just working a ton right now.
Awesome. Welcome,
Brian. Yeah, my name's Rafael Piani. I lead operations at Graphite. We're a growth marketing agency and SaaS platform specializing in SEO. I lead the operations team, so that means the finance and accounting teams, legal, revenue operations, IT, all report to me. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you to Brex and to the Controllers Council for the invitation.
All right. So I think we can move on to the agenda. So today, what are we going to talk about? So we're going to hear from our panelists on how companies are managing spend today, and in particular, for each one of you, kind of what your experience was before Brex and what were some of the pain points that you had. And then we'll dive into how leading companies have automated and streamlined their finance operations. A big topic that's top of mind for folks is how do you get better visibility, accountability, but also reduce the burden for employees. So we'll talk a bit about that and some of your experiences, what some of your experiences have been. We'll deep dive into compliance. Compliance is a big topic as kind of finance, accounting leaders. It's your job to make sure that employees are compliant with the regulations or the policies that the company has. But sometimes that can come at odds with the employee experience. And so we'll talk about some of the best practices that you've seen and that you've used yourselves. And then we'll end with some thoughts on the future and what may come next in the field. Cool. And so kind of starting with our first topic, how companies are proactively managing their spend today. And so, maybe the first kind of question I'll ask to get us started is, we're talking about this concept of unified spend management. What does that really mean to you, and why is it so important to think about kind of unified platforms and unified spend management for your businesses? And so maybe Rafa, if you wanna get started there, and then we'll hear from Brian and Natalie as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is one of the things that Brex was a game changer for us. So before, and we became Brex customers about a year ago, a little more than that. Before that, we were banking with a bank that, let's just say, had an online platform that was not optimized for the user experience. We had multiple credit cards that were not connected to that bank account. So expense tracking was really complicated for us. Whenever we would have company travel, whenever we would have company events, anything like that, any type of company expense, keeping track of what people were basically using their cards for was very hard, not to say impossible. It was not only hard in terms of just keeping track of all of the expenses, but then getting all of the receipts, getting everything that we needed to validate that those expenses indeed had happened was very complicated. We basically had a Google Drive file in which people would upload the receipt, and then we would have to manually sort of try to match one-to-one to see what was what. Implementing Brex was a game changer for us. We basically moved away from any of the other solutions that we had, and 99% of all of our expenses today go through the platform. Additionally, just the fact that people on our team can just have the Slack integration and easily upload receipts immediately after making an expense, that has also been a game changer in terms of accountability for us.
Awesome. Thanks, Rafa. Brian, do you want to talk a bit about kind of what were you using before Brex and what some of your pain points were as well?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for asking. So essentially, unified spend management, now is just being able to have all our expenses in one channel of visibility, which makes our job easier. Before we had Brex, I was with the club for approximately 6 months, and we were with another bank whose system wasn't always willing to work with us, as Rafael can mention to that. And whether it be employees who are doing the jobs all over the world or traveling, charges not appearing on the server, or they can't upload memos, or they can't log in, and there's issues up and down. It made our month-end process for operations a nightmare, because we would have to get paper statements and track expenses one by one. And the time it took manually to just try to get in expenses information instead of being able to analyze was detrimental. So over the period of a couple months where we implemented and negotiated with Brex and just basically brought it to the whole club, now all of our employees, no matter what department, what need, whether it be coaches who are not on laptops all day, or finance and accounting, You know, there's a mobile app, there's everything you need, a quick picture of the receipt, a quick enter of the memo. And we now today, because of Brex, are proactively being able to track to the second, to the day, seeing what's happening, what categories, and it's just completely helped make us way more efficient and lean as a team.
Awesome. Natalie, we're curious kind of what your experience was like. Where did you come to Brex from? What were some of the pain points you had before Brex?
Yeah, certainly. I can really echo some of the sentiments that were shared by Brian and Rafael so far. We too came from a smaller bank platform before. It was not bank managed, so there was its own issue there. It was like a fintech managed platform, and customer support was not comparable to what we have now with Brex. Aside from that, though, I mean, in considering unified spend management and what that truly means for us, you know, we appreciate one cohesive environment that Brex currently offers, where our managers and department heads are able to track, you know, and provide access and monitor that access of spend without actually, you know, with good visibility, but without actually having to shoulder, you know, manual processes like what Brian was speaking to, the receipt upload and those types of things. So having in the one environment is truly impactful too. We recently entered Brex's travel product, and overwhelming great positive feedback. So it's been great to empower employees with real-time access to data. That's been a great positive impact for our department managers as well.
Awesome. And I guess maybe to dive a bit more on this, and so kind of you started with Brex for spend management, and then you're kind of adding travel. Like talk a bit more about like what is the value of having like, you know, those different solutions like all in one platform? Like how does that, what kind of value does that create for you to kind of have this this all in one platform?
Sure. As Triage grew, our you know, volume of corporate travel spend certainly grew with it, and Brex has, as you know, the budgeting capability for, you know, divvying out allotted spend by department, and, you know, limiting spend based on need, and being able to, you know, within budgets in that function, you're able to you know, create what's appropriate for your team. You know, if someone just needs a recurring card, great. You can just have one recurring, you know, card budget to that effect. But some teams, you know, they wanted to set up more of a procurement model. Some teams, you know, do have more travel than others. So being able to utilize budgets as it relates to travel and plan trips, and have group, you know, spend in accordance to, you know, scheduled trips in advance, has also been a great, not only a time saver, but a great planning tool from like an FP&A perspective for our departments as well.
Awesome.
I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah. No, that's great. And we're gonna kind of dive into more of the benefits that kind of each type of user of the platform is getting, from employees to finance teams in a little bit. But before we do so, I think Natalie, you just talked really eloquently about kind of how you're leveraging Brex for some of the like kind of travel and like T&E spend, and some of the capabilities across spend management and the travel platform. Kind of curious for Rafa and Brian. I know you also use Brex for travel. What are other types of spend and other use cases that you're using Brex for today beyond kind of travel, to like employee travel? So Rafa, if you wanna start.
Sure. Yeah, I think that for us, one of the things that we're taking the most advantage of is the ability to create nested budgets and virtual credit cards. So we started as an agency, but nowadays we've branched out, and we have our consulting business, which specializes in SEO. We have a writing agency, and we also have a SaaS platform. Each of these, you know, businesses are within the Graphite umbrella, but internally they act as business units. Before Brex, basically, you know, all the expenses, it was really hard for us to track which business unit was inquiring in which expense. For us, the ability to basically create multiple nested budgets within each business unit and be able to create virtual credit cards for specific types of expenses. So for example, our consulting business unit has a nested budget for software only that even within itself has nested budgets for specific software expenses. Being able for us to just say, oh, this was made with credit card ending at 7549, we immediately know this is an expense for this specific category. This has sort of made our expense tracking process and allocation process way more efficient. Before that, we sort of sent everything to our corporate business unit and sort of made some assumptions in terms of distribution. We don't make assumptions anymore. We're able to precisely know how much money each business unit is spending, how are they spending it, and if there are opportunities for optimization.
Awesome. What about you, Brian? So what are kind of other examples of like spend use cases that you're using Brex for?
Yeah, no, like Natalie and Rafael mentioned, besides travel and expense tracks and just the flexibility it provides. So into Miami itself, as a sports club, its needs on a daily basis are very dynamic and versatile. So with that, we had to have a credit card with Brex that could able to, manage and assist us with that and not, bend or break. So when we implemented Brex starting the new year, we use this Brex capabilities, as Rafa mentioned, with building the budgets and whatnot, to really fine tune how we're going to map and plan our FP&A process for the year. So for example, now our IT team runs every single software for the company through our Brex code. We can track, okay, everything's coming in accordingly. And for our budget tracker and our expense tracker, we're able to have a lot more clarity with what's coming in and making sure that the controls are being in place. At the same time, with our teams traveling for the week to New York, they have the flexibility to make sure that all 50 rooms and the banquets are being served, while in Miami, our academy is still being able to book the buses to take the kids to school and tutors. So Brex is taking all that and making it seamless for us, all while being able to handle foreign conversion, translation for us, and just auto-generating the receipts, which is great too. So Brex in all aspects is just making our day-to-day just that 1% easier, which for us is huge.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you all. Super interesting to hear how you've been able to kind of leverage some of the functionality of the platform across really different kind of types of spend and use cases and bring that all together. Awesome. Well, we're gonna kind of dive into more of some of the benefits and the value that you've kind of been able to create across the company, your companies using Brex. But before we do so, I think we want to kind of move on to a first kind of audience poll question. So Neil,